So the assignment for this model is pretty simple. I'm going to walk you through it. You're going to look at the model that is available for download on Canvas, and it's going to be called Model 5 with grading plan. When you open it up, you'll notice that you've got a pre-existing structure, a little house here, with a with a line that indicates the yard for this house. And then we've also got a JPEG that's been brought in that shows the contour lines. So what I would do first is just go ahead and hide that house. Or I think we've got the house on its own layer, and I think I've already put it on its own layer, so let me go ahead and unhide that house. And you just turn the house layer off. Then go through and using your line tool, just trace along the contours. Again, don't worry about trying to make this perfect. It's going to look a little bit more jagged and linear than the actual little sketched line below. So just go along the line, tracing till you get to that end point. Let's do one more over here. You also see these little indicators here showing you that this line marks the beginning of 5 feet. So each one of these lines is 5 feet higher than the last. Okay, so almost there. And I've actually gone through and I've already drawn the other lines just to save some time. Okay, so this is our 0 point. So we know that the rest of these lines, we can select them, are going to be 5 feet higher than the lines below it. So moving up along that blue axis, I just type 5 feet, enter, and then I can take away the line that I don't want to move up anymore. So I'm going to go another 5 feet, and I'll take away this one by, actually I'll go ahead and select it. Here, let me go ahead and select these lines instead. Alright, so I've selected those. Move this up another 5 feet. When it starts to get a little difficult to use the select tool, I'll just hold shift down and double click to unselect that one line. Another 5 feet. Go ahead and unselect that as well. Move up another 5 feet. So I'm just unselecting and then taking the remaining lines and moving them 5 feet up in space. We got one last one. 5 feet. Okay, and that last one is supposed to be at plus 35 feet, so let me just verify with my tape measure by dragging all the way down. 34 feet, 10 and something or other. I don't know how that happened, but that's close enough. Okay. Now, I'm going to select everything, select all these lines, and go to my From Contours. So if I click on the Create Sandbox from Contours, it's going to take a moment to figure that out, and then it's going to create that hill. Okay, so I now no longer need those contours anymore. So I can go ahead and select all of those and delete them. Great, so I've got my hill in place. Now I want to turn the house back on, and it looks like we're going to need to cut some stuff away because the hill is actually taking over our house. So let's move the house up in space. I'm just going to move it up along the blue axis. And then I'm going to reference this shape to the bottom. But just to be safe, and because I'm also going to use this shape again, I'm going to open this group up, select the shape, copy, so edit copy, and do it with a shortcut, and then edit paste. I'm going to make this its own group. And it needs to be rotated around. Okay, move this so that it's sitting right where it needs to be sitting, right under that house. And then I'm just going to move it down a little bit. Now I'll go ahead and hide the house again. I'm not going to turn the house plan off. Oh yeah, I can either turn the house plan off or I can hide it. I guess in this case I can go ahead and just turn the house plan off. Okay, so I want this to just cut right into the hill. I don't want there to be an offset. So I'm going to activate my stamp tool. The offset is 1 inch. Let's make the offset 0. Click on this shape, and then click on the hill below once. Now I have the option to start raising or lowering this new cutout. I'm actually going to drag it down, and I'm going to drag it down so it's very obviously underneath that hill shape, just so I can really see that it's punching through. Now I can turn the house back on. I can move the house into place and bring it down along the blue axis until I'm touching on top of that grading plan, at which point I now no longer need. So I can turn the grading plan off, and I don't need to see that anymore. Let's go ahead and hide this just to take a look at what we've got. Okay, so the last thing I'll do is put in a retaining wall so that the retaining wall can hold this hill back once we've cut into it. So let me unhide this guy, open this up, I'll offset it 12 inches in on itself, delete the inside, and then push-pull this all the way down until I touch that first point. Now I need to push-pull it down again until I'm just about to the top of that little hill, and maybe bring it up just a little bit higher. Let's go ahead and see how high that is. It's still pretty high, so let's do 13 feet, and then just match it to that point. Okay, so 13 feet should at least clear that hill. Now as we get to the side of the house, I don't know that I want this to be this crazy wall all the way. I just want it to really be a wall that holds up at the highest point. So I'm going to start making some lines across the top of the face of this. And maybe I'll do it exactly at the same place on the opposite side. So if I use my tape, I can find that same spot over here. And then I want to copy these lines. So I'm selecting them both. I'm going to copy them all the way to, I'm going to look at both sides here, to about there. So it's landing at about that point. Then I'm going to divide it by 4 so I can start to create kind of like a stagger. So I'll push-pull this face down 2 feet. This one I'll go down 4 feet. This one, let's see, 6 feet. And then 8 feet. And from here, I'll push that whole thing down, and I'll probably push it way down to there. Okay, same thing, 2 feet on this side, then 4 feet, then 6 feet, then 8 feet. And then I'm just going to carve this away from here to there. Actually, it looks like I want to come out a little further. So I'm at that point. The same thing. I'm just going to take this straight back here like this. Now I'll just push-pull this whole thing down so that it disappears. So again, I can't push-pull it away into oblivion because it's actually, that would be like dissecting this whole shape. So I have to now select the lines I don't want and delete them. But there's my little retaining wall. And then I'm going to make a new shape here. That represents the edge of this street so that I don't see what's happening below anymore. Actually, hold on, I'm going to take it back 1 second. For the sake of this video, we're going to stop it here actually. We're going to stop at this point. So we've basically successfully just made our hill and then used the shape of the yard for this house as a stamp to stamp this away, and then we created a little retaining wall from the shape of this as well. So in the next video we'll do a little bit of drape and we'll add some materials and some trees, and then we will be done with this model.